you just blew my mind, because what you're saying is that the British Empire is an organization that infiltrated your land, made it, and basically colonized everyone. Because in our Western minds, in my mind, I always thought the English were the colonizers, but now you kind of cleared the picture for me. Listen, Chief, is it proper to refer to you guys as Celts or Irish, or like what's the proper way to refer to your people?
Clan na Gael, the family of the Irish. Clan na Gael is a collective term, and that would refer to all of the Gaels. We are Gaels more. The Celtic word is really an introduction of the last 200 years.
Gotcha. That's why I asked. So, what is the difference between you guys and the English? What's the story and the connection there?
Very little difference, actually. A lot of people would say that England has been taken by Saxons and Goths and so many things, but intrinsically, the people of England, the people of Ireland, we have a lot of the same historic genetic roots, even language-wise, place name-wise. Much of it is in common. Many of the ancient places of teaching and learning in Britain also were established by ancient Irish monks, like the.
Well, why always the fighting? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Like, why always the fighting between the English and the Irish? Like, ever since the great Great Britain has always sort of, like, just like the Scots sort of colonized you guys, right? For a period.
Well, you see,
I'm sorry.
Please.
Yeah, I was going to add something in there. We have a history in Ireland of the British coming in and starving the Irish to death in this so-called 1840s famine.
But who are you? I'm sorry, Jim. Who are you referring to when you say the Brits? Because when I think the Brits, I think of Great Britain, and I think of English and Irish and Scottish. Do you mean the English, or like who are you referring to when you say the Brits?
Well, to get to that point, I am of the opinion that this famine was Europe-wide, all over Britain, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. But we're only told about it in Ireland, so we get the sympathy. But whoever these people are, I mean, I call them trannies from Transylvania. That's who they are. They're the Khazarian mafia. They took England.
I got you.
Took England and put England under its control, and then and the British Isles. And
so the story with the British royal family, the Windsors, do they go back to the Khazarians?
They are definitely. Yeah, they're the invaders who took England.
Gotcha. Because I'm sorry for interrupting you again. That's what we say in Ukraine and Russia. We know about this fact. We know that the Windsors are in fact Khazarian, and this is why I asked, because I wanted to see if you guys will prove it.
So they took England. They formed armies, and then England was the first colony of the British Empire. Then they took Scotland, they took Wales, they took Ireland, and that they administer the English-speaking world on behalf of Rome.
Got you.
So they divided, conquered, and they set the people against each other, because DNA-wise, you're not going to find much of a difference
Yeah,
between English
you
and
guys are
British as well.
mostly mostly R1B haplogroup, right? If the Slavs are R1A, you guys, as far as I know, Irish and Scottish that go back thousands of years ago are R1B. You know,
Yes.
as far
Well,
as I know.
we are Caucasian, Caucasus.
Yeah, yeah, but you see, there was a split. There was a split between R1A and R1B at some point, and this is why R1B is mostly found where you guys are at, and R1A is found like where we are at the steppes. You know, Ukraine and Russia and the Slavic countries, man.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
But this is so crazy, Jim, that you just blew my mind, because what you're saying is that the British Empire is an organization that infiltrated your land, made it, and basically colonized everyone. Because in our Western minds, in my mind, I always thought the English were the colonizers, but now you kind of cleared the picture for me.
The English haven't ruled their own country since the 1600s. Ever since then, this Saxe Coburg Gotha and William of Orange, the Saxe Coburg Gotha is the Windsor family of today. They changed their name only in 1913, before the First World War, because they knew they would be unpopular with a German name, leading England into a war with Germany. So they
And
disguised
they
their name,
are and they
came
are
on.
and they are directly related to the Romanov family too, because
Very much. Yeah,
King George the Sixth and Tsar Nikolai II were cousins, man.
exactly. And Wilhelm in Germany also. Yes. Yeah. So these parasites took over Europe, and that intrigue could make it. There's many books on it already, but basically, through their treasurers, and the monarchies got compromised, and they ended up just like after the Napoleonic War, when Napoleon supposedly lost the Battle of Trafalgar, and the Rothschild spies had the news of this engagement in England Stock Exchange 24 hours before everybody else. And by selling all their stock and rebuying all of the crashed stock at a penny on the pound, they became the richest, and they broke the treasury of the royal family. So they ended up having breeding rights into the Saxe Coburg Gotha royal family. And this is the way it's been since 1820. Okay? And I've had this information from King John II, Gregory Joseph Hallett, who's done much years of research and written many books on this. So all glories to him for revealing the truth from the inside out. Yeah, the English haven't ruled their own country since the 1600s, and it wasn't until 1798 that they finally established London rule over Ireland.
But
And we've put since then.
sorry, is there like a unnatural animosity between the English and the Irish?
Oh no.
Well, in a lot of people's minds, England and the English would be synonymous with the word British. We prefer,
Right.
Jim and I, and those who are more in a clue of the difference, we refer to the British and the English very separately. The English people have been taken over and downtrodden and now totally overrun, as much as the Welsh and the Scottish and the Irish, even more so probably. So it's unfortunate that many of the people in Ireland would still consider the English as the old enemy, because they made up the rank and file of this British Crown Army that came to take our country, take our lives, take our land, take our history away from us. And they did to a great degree. They were successful for quite a while. But as you know, where there's an Irishman or two alive, there's no defeat. They never gave up. And every 50 years, there was an insurrection until 1922, when we finally gave them a kick in the teeth that they couldn't get over, and they backed off and they left our country, and we established bit by bit some semblance of independence since then. But of course, they still had we still had their legal system, which we never cast off, and their banking system, which we never cast off. And due to this fact, we never actually got sovereign independence. It was just an illusion. But all of the main players in those structures of power were still left on the land here, and they've re-emerged now to be the toxic agencies that we are now dealing with, that are about to put us to the knife again.
This is so extremely important. And Jim, you wanted to say something, but this is so extremely important, because the way they conquered and divided us is they made us focus on these ideas of nationalities and national idea and flags and anthems and all of these different things. And it's so important that both of you guys just pointed out that, look, it's a structure that infiltrated, that came in, and we see the difference between what is the English, Irish, and Scottish, as opposed to who are the British Empire. So that was, Jim, you wanted to say something, man.
No, I was just going to add in there that you remember the guy, they say he passed away, Robert David Steele. He was an American, and he was all over the internet. And he did interviews with a guy called Dempsey. I can't remember his first name. But this Dempsey guy wrote a book called The Irish Holocaust. And this Dempsey guy was in Ireland looking for mass graves. And he says that he found mass graves with 5 million in these graves. And then they came along and they stopped him. And he said that during this time, there were 63 out of 67 British Army regiments in Ireland at that time. So they had this other gang in Ireland called the Black and Tans. They called them Black and Tans because of black boots and tan coats. And they recruited them from the prisons. They took everybody out of the prisons in England, gave them a uniform and a gun, and sent them to Ireland. And they killed indiscriminately men, women, children. And right now, we have another invasion, and these people are all black and tan people.
We're gonna get into that. So you're talking about the Holocaust that you were previously talking about in the 1800s?
Well, the word Holocaust comes from Ireland.
Originally used to describe in the London Illustrated News and the news of the Times in London of the day. That famine in Ireland and the death rate was referred to first time in history as the Holocaust.